Okay, Young Money meets Violet Money today as we come back with this next interview. Very excited to be joined by the man, Levi Batchelor, who is back 5th of July, PFL Brussels, for his debut with the promotion. Levi, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Norfolk. How are things over where you are?
Oh, mate, it's absolutely boiling here today.
Yeah. It's gonna get even higher over the weekend as well. Because
No.
we're not used to this. We're not used to this. Just a couple of weeks in the summer, that's it. Um, yeah, obviously, a few weeks ago now, we heard that you had signed with the PFL. You were making your debut in Brussels. Um, you've since confirmed online that it's a multi-fight deal that you've signed with them.
Yeah.
Just talk about how this deal came about from your perspective.
Yeah, so obviously I had my last fight in October of 2024. And since then, I wanted to stay active. I was looking to fight hopefully into March. Um, I wanted to move on from the sort of regional shows if I could and try and push on to something that's going to get me a little bit more exposure. Because I just feel in myself that I was ready for that stage. Um, so I started preparing in the January for something to hopefully come in the March, and nothing come of it basically. So just kept preparing. I then went away to Dubai, was training out there, was training with Coach Ozzy, guys like John Mitchell in the PFL, and just sharpening all my tools while I had the time to do so. I came back and then started having a few shows giving me different offers, different fights, which I accepted all of them. And then none of them ended up coming through. And then we had the fight opportunity on the PFL, which obviously I jumped at the opportunity. Took a couple of days to be accepted. Um, and then there we are. They announced the fight, and yeah, I'm over the moon with it.
Yeah, you mentioned they're struggling to get a fight earlier in the year. That's a common theme when we talk to guys, like yourself, who are very highly touted early in their career, when you're still on that regional level. It is hard to get fights, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really difficult. I went through my entire amateur career being very difficult to match. Even fighting on my sort of home shows, I was looking up and down the UK trying to find opposition, and I was having to fly guys in from European countries, etc., and just to get the matchups because I couldn't get them in Wales or the UK. So to be honest, being difficult to match isn't something that's new to me. But
Yeah.
it's frustrating when you want to stay active and you can't get those matchups.
Of course, but things obviously worked out with PFL. I think there was a bit of surprise around the fan base when you signed with PFL because you're so early in your career. There's nothing against your skill set. We know you're an incredibly talented fighter. It's just that you had only had those two pro fights. Were you surprised that an organization like PFL were coming to you at that point?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely a big step up from what I'm used to. But it's right place, right time. I suppose I'm a big believer of what's meant to be will be, and I think that for me to have this opportunity is is what I'm meant to be doing. This is the path that I'm supposed to be taking. Obviously, you've got other promotions that are quite big in the UK, and people were expecting me to probably have signed to, which nothing came about of. But I think out of all the options that I was given, I think I've come out on top and just taken the best of the bunch. So yeah, I'm over the moon.
Yeah, because I think at the start of the year you kind of put out publicly like, "Hey, Cage Warriors, I'm here." You were kind of calling for that. Did you ever hear anything concrete from them or no?
To be honest, no. There was nothing really official from Cage Warriors. I think they're so busy with their rosters anyway,
Yeah.
and the market at the moment for talent in Wales is fairly small for them. So from a business standpoint, I can kind of understand it. There was a lot of fights that stood out that I actually jumped forward to. Was speaking to the matchmakers and said, "Look, let me fight these guys." And nothing ever come about of it. I know there was guys that sort of pulled out and whatever, and I said I was ready, but just didn't get that opportunity. But yeah, I'm obviously with the PFL now, and I think that's probably the best place I can be. So
Yeah, we'll come on to talk about this fight you've got coming up in a second. But obviously, being in the PFL, there's going to be a lot more eyeballs on you than you've experienced so far in your career. A lot of people watching this fight that haven't seen you before. How would you describe yourself to these people? If someone's gonna watch this fight, they're like, "Oh, Levi Batchelor, I've not seen him before. What's he all about?" What would you say to them?
well, I think that people look at me as a sort of grappler wrestler. They expect me to come out and wrestle, which I finished a lot of my fights with. If you're looking at records, but I think I'm pretty well rounded in all areas. I've spent a lot of time going out to Thailand, spent a lot of time in Bang Tao where I've focused on my striking, my kickboxing. I've also done high level wrestling camps over in Dubai. I've obviously got a massive pool of talent in Wales in short mixed martial arts. So I think I can be an entertaining fighter for anybody to watch. Um, but styles make exciting fights, and yeah, I think the test that I've got ahead of me is going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, speaking of that test, Fadi Khaled, the opponent, he's a local guy. He's from Belgium. He's going to be the hometown favorite there. But he's got a Thai boxing background. He's fought Thai boxing and kickboxing for one. Guys like Rod Tang, Superlek, he's been in there with. Was he a guy you knew anything about before the name came to you? And then from doing your research into him after getting the matchup, what are your thoughts?
No, I didn't know he was prior to being asked to fight him. All I knew that he's 2-0. So obviously we've got the same MMA record, and he had experience in Muay Thai. It wasn't until I went away and sort of looked at his history and saw that he'd been competing in one championship, and he's had like 60 pro Muay Thai fights. But honestly, it doesn't faze me. I think he's nothing that I haven't seen before. Like I said, I've done a lot of traveling, and I've trained with every level of possibility that there is in the world. Um, he's got two arms, two legs. He's not going to be nothing that I haven't seen before. So.
And you mentioned the step up from the regional scene to PFL earlier. Do you see him as a significant step up from the guys you've been fighting so far?
100%. I think that he is going to be the toughest test of my career. I think that, like I was saying, I think styles make fights. I think it's going to be an exciting matchup. I think a lot of people are counting me out, with his history of Muay Thai, and even looking at his first couple of pro MMA fights, he's done very well on the floor as well. So I'm excited to test myself, and I think there's a lot of pressure on me to sort of be the next biggest thing to come out of Wales as well. So I'm just looking forward to putting a statement, and obviously being the hometown of Belgium, looking to upset the fans.
But yeah, I know you don't mind that hometown factor that he's got in this one. I know you could kind of relish playing the bad guy, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's exciting. It's the first time me traveling, going away. I'm usually the hometown fighter, but I'm not phased by any of this. I'm more than ready. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm ready to just steal the show. So
Yeah, you can get Oban to give you some tips at working the crowd a little bit.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you touched on kind of the experiences you've had. You mentioned training in Dubai. You mentioned training in Bangtao. What have these experiences been like? And for a guy so early in your career, how beneficial do you think things like that, getting to different places, training with different guys, how beneficial has that been so early in your career?
I think it's super beneficial. Like if you've got the opportunity to go away and learn from different people, I think you should 100% take it. Um, just the amount of different bodies and people and coaches that I've met. There's not one style fits all, unfortunately. As great as my coaches are in Wales, they don't know everything. Neither does anyone else, but they don't know everything. And it's just nice to go away and learn different things from different people. Um, so my Thailand trip was fantastic. You got the Hickman brothers, super high level wrestling. You got Brad Riddell, kickboxing coach. fantastic boxing coaches and Muay Thai coaches. And then over in Dubai, you've got Coach Ozzy, who's just super high level, worked with the likes of um, Kamzat, Khabib, Islam. Um, he's been about and he's a very, very talented coach. So it's an honour to be a part of all these different camps. But obviously, I'm representing Wales, and that's where I'll be staying. So.
Of course, of course. I feel like so many UK fighters I've talked to have been to Bangtao now. I mean, why do you think that is? You touched on some of the reasons there, guys like the Hickmans, guys like Brad Riddell, but why do you think UK fighters especially are making that trip to Bangtao a lot now?
I just think it's a fantastic gym. The facility's amazing. I went sort of like less than a year that they'd been opened, so um, it wasn't too well known when I first went. And then more and more people started to go, and I think it just blew up on social media when you see the UFC stars that are going and training with the likes of the Hickman brothers. You've got Volkanovski's involved in the gym, and I just think it's exciting for people to sort of be able to mix with these stars on the mats, and obviously that it's just fantastic to say. I train with Volkanovski, I train with Kamzat, but it's also the lifestyle as well. Like Thailand's a fantastic location. It's right by the beach, and it's just a completely different lifestyle. You just train full time, go down to the beach, drink coconuts. It's like it's amazing. Completely different lifestyle.
Of course. And obviously in that time you've made a lot of developments to your game through doing that. The last time we saw you fight was October. It's quite a big layoff, especially early in a career. What is going to be different? Where are these developments going to be noticeable? What's going to be different about the Levi Batchelor stepping into the cage in just a couple of weeks from the guy back in October?
Honestly, like I've been October. We're talking like 8 months away, 9 months away,
Yeah.
9 months ago, and like just the developments that I've made in the gym, and just um, lots of different details that I've picked up on from different coaches. Obviously, like I said, I went away. I've had all this time to work on myself, not just trying to sort of make the weight and just do a fight camp and sparring all the time. I've gone away and I've actually spent a lot of time being able to look at details and techniques and stuff, not always constantly pushing myself. Other than that, just different mindsets, seeing other people, and um, obviously we've had Brett Johns fighting with the PFL and Josh Reed fighting with the PFL, and just speaking to them about the experiences, and they're saying, I'm more than ready to be competing on this stage. I've seen other people that are competing on this stage, and I know I'm more than capable of going in there with them and beating them. So um, I think I've just got a stronger mindset. I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm looking forward to putting on a show.
I want to talk about Jack a little. Jack Shaw, of course, announced his
Yeah,
retirement a few months ago. He's now all in on the management side of things. He's been bigging you up to us for ages at this point.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
how important is it for you to have someone who's, he's had the career he's had, he's been to the places he's been, guiding you, as well as, his dad, as well as people like Oban, Brett, Josh Reed. How important is it to have those guys behind you?
Super important. You need people that can sort of guide you, and they've been there and they've done it themselves. Not making mistakes that they've made in the past. Maybe it's fantastic to have watched their journeys. When I first started, Jack was just on the brink of fighting for a Cage Warriors title. Jack Marshman had just signed to the UFC, and just to sort of look at them now and be like, fuck, like I'm in their position sort of when I first started of turning pro and competing as a professional. Um, it's nice, but then you're like, oh, am I really ready for this? Am I not? So it's great to just have that reassurance from those guys, because when I first started, they looked like superstars to me, and it's crazy. Like I'm obviously like the same age as they were sort of when I first started, and it's great. Like I had the experience of going away to the UFC with Jack, and being able to see all the behind the scenes and how all that works, and I've just had a fantastic start to present with show mixed martial arts, and I can't thank those guys enough. They sort of just took me under their wing, and I've obviously dedicated myself. I've stayed committed. I've trained full time, and that's what they love as well. So
Of course. And it feels like just the Welsh scene as a whole is like a very tight-knit community. You talked about it being a small scene earlier, but like looking from the outside from here in England, it does seem like almost in Wales, everyone knows everyone. It does feel like that kind of community, if you know what I mean.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Um, of course. Um, the debut coming up. PFL is an organization. It's a big organization, but it's an organization where the progression is pretty clear. You're in this position, then you can get all. They have all these different branches you can kind of go down. Have you had conversations about what might be next for you in PFL? Is the plan to kind of jump into the Europe tournament after this?
So there's been no conversations just yet about what's going to happen in my future. Obviously, I've got a tough test in front of me to get through first. I'm more than confident in my own ability to be able to pick up a W in 2 weeks' time. But yeah, I think that's conversations that will sort of wait until then. Um, they've got the tournament obviously running on now, and probably won't be going on again until next year. So
Yeah,
I mean potentially, but like you said, still very early on in my career, and I'm not looking forward. I'm not looking to make massive jumps unnecessarily. I'm still learning. I'm still very early on, and I'm just going to take what's sensible. If an opportunity comes that sounds too good to sort of miss, then 100% I'm going to be there, and I'll be taking it.
of course. I got a quick fire segment now, so I'm just gonna rattle some questions at you, and we'll
Whereas
see what you got. Favorite food?
pizza,
That's a common one, actually.
yeah,
Favorite drink?
uh probably Monster Energy.
Which flavor?
Oh, it's got to be Ultra Watermelon. That's the best.
What's your go-to breakfast?
Overnight oats every time.
Favorite movie?
Oh, favorite movie. I have no idea with that. No idea. There's so many great films out there, but no idea.
Yeah. Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show.
Or just one
Um,
you're watching at the moment?
Breaking Bad's a good one. I like Breaking Bad.
Favorite musician?
Favorite musician. Maybe like Jerry Cinnamon, some of that sort of vibe.
Yeah. Favorite sport other than MMA?
Favorite sport. Uh, to be honest, it's shocking. I'm not a massive sports person. Um, God, I don't even know. I don't even know. I
Yeah,
say
that's fine.
I'm gonna throw darts out there. I'll do.
That's cool. That's cool. Favorite fight. So we'll do a favorite fight of your own and a favorite fight to watch as well.
Favorite fight of mine, probably when I fought Charles Grosson for my featherweight title on Cage Warriors Academy Wales. I think on paper, sort of going into that fight, I was a bit of an underdog. He was like ranked number one in France at the time, and I put him away. Um, Another fight to watch. I say staying on the PFL road. I say Lewis McGrillen and Dean Garnett. I think that was probably one of the best fights I've ever watched. So
Yeah. Crazy fight. Crazy fight.
yeah, mental.
A favorite fighter.
Favorite fight there, probably Alex Volkanovski.
Yeah. Favorite submission to practice.
Mm. I say triangle choke is one of my highest percentage submissions as well. Got a couple of other favorite ones, but I won't say too much about them just yet. I like to hit them in a fight first.
Of course. Um, and the best piece of advice. Oh, actually, funniest person you've met in MMA.
Oh, Chris Edwards, 100%. The captain, Chris Edwards.
And the best piece of advice you've been given?
Um, Best piece of advice. Honestly, probably just like chase your dreams was probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've been given. Simply because, like I just sort of briefly mentioned, I've never been a massive sports person, and so when I took up Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for the first time before getting into anything, I was sort of in doing that for about a year, maybe a year and a half, until I sort of clicked and I was like, oh, I'm actually decent at this. And then obviously I made the decision to go full time, and now I'm here undefeated as a professional fighting for the PFL. So if I had never sort of wanted to commit myself and chase my dreams, then I'd never be in this position. So yeah, 100%. If you dedicate yourself, you can achieve anything. So
Perfect. Perfect. That's a good. That's great. We're just gonna wrap up in a second, but firstly, I see you. I see the shirt you're wearing. Just wanna. The floor is
yeah.
yours. Just kind of promote your stuff. What you got going on with that?
Yeah, so I launched my brand Young Money MMA back in November of 2024. Clothing brand, um, urban style and streetwear. Fantastic quality. I've had 100% positive reviews so far. You can find it all on youngmoneymma.com. And up until my fight, I've got a 15% discount on the entire store using my code LBachelorPFL, which is the same code as if you want to get tickets for my PFL fight in Belgium. You can follow my link in my Instagram bio and enter the code.
And what's your Instagram, just so people can find it easily?
My Instagram is Levi_Batch.
There we go. There we go. I want to thank you for taking the time today, Levi. Very excited to watch. Of course, The Zone is where we can watch here in the UK. July 5th over in Brussels for you. Um, Levi, just give us the hard sell finally. When yourself, Fadi Khaled step into the cage, what can the people expect?
Listen, he's going to come out strong. I'm going to come out stronger, and I'm going to put him away in the first round. 100%.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. Um, looking forward to it, man. Thanks for taking the time and best of luck.
Thank you very much.